Welcome to Vision Pros, the show all about spatial computing, Vision OS, and getting work done on the Apple Vision Pro. I'm Tim Chen, host of the show. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Vision Pros. Joining today is Greg from Snapchat, and in this episode, we're going to dive into kind of his background as a developer, what he's been working on for Vision OS, his overall experiences with the Apple Vision Pro and headsets in general. And just we'll see how the conversation goes from there. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so over at visionpros.fm/Patreon or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, here's my conversation with Greg. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Greg.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for being. I'm happy to be here. Long time listener.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to have this conversation. Thanks for you reached out, and I'm always fascinated to hear from people, especially in the development world and kind of bigger companies too at Snapchat, and seeing kind of what I guess this is a sort of Snapchat stuff. You kind of took the initiative, I would say, to bring some stuff to light there. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, really, to lay all the cards out here, this is both, a personal interest of mine, as in addition to bringing some Snapchat flavor or some context into this. Really, the reason I wanted to join is that all of my friends, all these people that I know and have met in the community, kept going onto your podcast. And then I finally said, you know what, I'm like the last person that I know that hasn't had a chance to be a guest on your show. So at this point, that was really the reach out. That was the reason for
it. Yeah. And you attended the Vision Dev hackathon when it first came out. Was that the first hackathon back? How many years are we in? 3 years now? Feels like Vision Pro's been with us forever, but it's not that old.
Exactly. I know. It's like, well, sometimes I feel like, oh, it's only been a few months since it came out. And then other times I look at it, it's like, oh, wow, it's almost been 2 years now.
Yeah, it's funny. The wait was excruciating for me, like that full year leading up to it. It's like, oh, come on, can we have it already? And now it feels like it's been with us forever.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of excitement in that hackathon. That was led by the Raven Zachary and Dom. I can't think of his full name, but they've been doing like iOS related hackathons for a long time, and organized one of the first, or maybe the first, Apple Vision Pro, Vision OS hackathon, and it was in my hometown. So, I live in San Francisco Bay Area, and that was just kind of down in the South Bay. So I was like, yeah, easy decision for me to go into that, and it ended up being really cool, just from like a community standpoint. And I mean, I could really go into depth on the dev community for this thing, but it really kicked things off, in my opinion, of just huge list of people that I now follow, like through Reddit, through Twitter, through all these different things, and keeps me plugged in. Even if I'm not really doing XR stuff day to day, it at least helps, makes me feel connected in some way.
Yeah. So what's your fascination with the Vision Pro? Did you have prior experience with headsets? Is this the first time you've been with headsets and got an experience what those are like, or what's your background there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I had zero experience up until the Quest 2. So that was my entry into that whole world. And I was actually working at now known as Meta, but back then I called it Facebook, like some old fogey. But when I was at Facebook, the Quest 2s, I think, were either subsidized or like just given away to employees. And so I said, hey, yeah, sure, I'll take a virtually free headset and play around and try stuff out. Why not? And and I think it was like maybe pre-COVID times, and so just had some nice opportunities to like put the thing on when I was alone in my apartment and actually kind of play around with it. And I would never call myself a heavy user of it, but I saw the precursor to the Apple Vision Pro as like the pass-through mode, right? And it's like very grainy and black and white on the Quest 2. But when I saw the like floating UI and just kind of like, seeing the what was to come of like, wow, if this thing was actually high resolution and I wasn't getting this like screen door effect and seeing the LCD, et cetera, like I could still kind of turn my brain off to like those details and just like actually feel immersed by it. And that was like
Hmm.
really, old technology by today's standards. But anyway, lo and behold, it was, I think, like a lot of people, it was something that I enjoyed picking up and playing kind of like a handful of games on, but it kind of didn't stick as far as just the amount of time I spent with it and sort of staying on top of it. And but I saw the potential. So like
Yep.
that was my entry into it.
Yeah, because that device
And
is
yeah,
really a gaming console. It's like that feels like Meta's Xbox 360, where everyone had one, and they were giving them away for very cheap to consumers as well back then. And
I agree.
they just the market was huge and flooded with those things, and very much a gaming a lot of great games, as Meta's been buying up all these gaming studios to the chagrin of me, PlayStation VR user.
Absolutely. I mean, their
Yeah.
whole playbook. I mean, they bought the Beat Saber developer, right? I feel like that was
Yeah, they
probably
did.
their
Yeah.
biggest. Yeah.
Hmm. And
Their
then
playbook. Their
mhm.
playbook feels. Sorry to interrupt. The playbook feels very similar to Xbox and Microsoft back in the day, which is like exactly what you said, which is okay. Go for the hardcore audience. Go for video games. Buy up some studios, and then subsidize your expensive hardware with that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Microsoft's been buying up so many studios that they got in a little bit of trouble with, like, we bought too many of them, and
I
yeah.
speak back to the classic, like, Bungie was probably the smartest thing they've ever bought. And then it
Yeah,
was
it's
all downhill from there.
it's so funny with Bungie, like their whole brand is based off of an acquisition of a game that was showcased at an Apple event. Like, even the foundation of Xbox is like, we're just going to take someone else's creation a little bit. I don't know.
It's pretty, I mean, the Xbox is such a crazy life. And I will age myself a little bit because the first Xbox was like my prime video gaming time. And
Yeah.
I remember when I had bought my Xbox, I was shocked at myself. I was like, wow, I can't believe in a million years I'd be buying a Microsoft product. I was through and through an Apple fanboy,
Hmm.
of the late 90s. So that was so very memorable. But yeah, like it was such an irony to see this Mac, company, this gaming company that's like built these great Mac apps, like games rather,
Yeah.
Oni and the Marathon series and all these things, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, why is this on a Microsoft platform?
Yes. And
But
yeah.
here we are, and we've all. It's like all that feels like such, oh yeah, Microsoft monopoly, bad, big company. It feels like a lifetime ago at this
Oh
point, and
yeah.
now I could care less about the transgressions of Microsoft's
Yeah.
past.
And they did innovate quite a bit with 360 and just the internet of bringing that to consoles, and it was I think
Yeah.
overall good for the industry with the 360 and the innovations they made there. And we'll see with all the studio acquisitions what that means. It seems like a big gaming publisher now for PlayStation and soon Nintendo.
I don't even know what the state of gaming is in 2025. It's like all my friends, like I used to be big into Warzone when that first came out, and everyone was basically on PCs with controllers, and I don't even know if like owning a console now makes sense for me, right? But it's like when
Yeah.
I've heard you, like you have, I think you're big on like the PS5 to the Vision Pro, right?
Yeah. PS5, the Vision Pro with the Remote Play app is amazing. That's a great experience. And then Switch 2
And it's
I
yeah,
love as a handheld. It's great.
as far as I know, the Xbox just does not kind of communicate. Like there is just no sort of like turnkey solution that's that nice on an Xbox console right now, as far
Yeah,
as I
that
know.
same app, they did add support for Xbox, but I'm not sure it works as well just because of the APIs and whatnot. Is my
Gotcha. That's something I
understanding.
should look into.
Yeah.
This is the thing, I guess, to like to turn the subject back to Apple Vision Pro for a second. Um, it takes a lot of research just to like get something back from it. And I'm not
Hmm.
necessarily upset about that. I think that it's just easy to think like, okay, what can this thing do for me? And a lot of people ask me that, right? Like people who don't own one. And I say, like, you know what? I have to spend every week on Reddit hearing people talking about apps or talking about like what's new. And that's probably just going to be how it is for a while. Because I think I actually enjoy this aspect of discovering just little apps and like homebrewed things and people building remote play. Like it's just so, yeah, there's like just a community of people who are just unlocking more and more value. And no one's going to tell you about it. You got to go out and look for it.
Totally. Yeah. And yeah, for me, the value is 100% there as just an entertainment device outside of the productivity stuff that I actually enjoy. Safari and having, Ivory up in there and just being surrounded by windows,
Absolutely. It's still a bit of a mystery to me how I'll be using this in 5 years. Like I've definitely started out thinking like, oh, I'm gonna cook every recipe in the future with like a floating window with the set of ingredients over my stove. And I ended up doing that once and then never again. and
Yeah.
and so I feel like there's like a list of things that I thought, oh, like it won't even feel like I'm wearing this, and I can just walk around the house with it and augment my life with these things. And maybe that's now kind of the dream of the glasses,
Mm-hmm.
and the line of those kinds of things. But yeah, I definitely feel like I love to watch movies and entertainment content on it. I also really love extending my Mac display sometimes. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if what your experience has been like on the virtual display and if that's something you've continued to use or not.
I do use it. I'm not a heavy Mac user, so I do use it, but not all the time.
Gotcha. Not a heavy Mac user. Okay, that's interesting.
iPad
So
and
is it?
Vision Pro are my main platforms.
Yeah. How many do you do like a mixture of iPad apps as well? Like what do you feel like is
I
where you're landing on
do.
it?
There's a fair bit of iPad apps, and some of
Mm.
them are good. Some are not as happy to use. Like you load up Discord, and I have no idea where I'm looking to point. It's
Oh my
like
gosh, that
it's
app.
it is such. It's like maybe this is the right place to look. I will say the eye tracking with the new headband seems to be much better for me. I don't have to recalibrate nearly as often.
Yeah, what's funny is
Yeah.
I had the dual knit on my Christmas list, and my parents for whatever reason had to call an Apple store to perform this order, and whoever they were talking to for the phone interpreted a dual. What's the other one called? Like just the
Oh,
dual.
the one that came in the box that
Right,
I forget
right.
what
It's
it's
just like
called.
the
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, because like dual knit, and then there's like dual loop. That's what
Dual
it is.
loop. Yeah.
So he interpreted that as dual loop. So I was just kind of laughing because like who would interpret that, knowing that the dual knit is the big Christmas item for everybody. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so I have
Amazing
yet
that
to receive mine, but I am eager to try it.
it's amazing that the dual loop is the same cost as this highly engineered dual knit band. Amazing.
I I mean, have you ever like stopped to think about how insane the knitting machines are?
It's so good. Like that technology, whatever they're doing there, it's
They've like
amazing. Yeah.
they've showed little snippets in some of their videos, like especially when the first crazy knitted thing that I can recall is the strap on the AirPods Max. And you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the mesh
Hmm.
along that top. That's like a crazy,
The
just the
thing I'm
mesh of that, and
terrified
yeah.
my cat would like to just rip right through. Yeah.
I know. Well, we're all like, we're not getting into that decision to not protect that aspect of the headphones with the case. I know. I
I
there's
got the
some,
water fueled case for my AirPods Max, so I've got that. But yeah, it's crazy that Apple shipped the little sleeve type thing for it.
and it's also something you can't easily say like, oh, like pop it off and put a fresh like mesh on, right? It's like no, it's literally glued to the metal.
Yeah, the headphone cups are nice and replaceable, but
Yeah. Oh, that's very nice of them.
yes, I do appreciate that quite a bit because I've had to replace Beats cups in the past, and it's quite the challenge. Not challenge, but it's a fair bit of work. Get those swapped out.
I think they're pretty solid products. I think I still would have preferred an off button. I
Yeah.
I've really found that like I think that I've kind of permanently sort of bugged out my AirPods by keeping them out of the case for so long that I just like I feel like I like everything from pairing to resetting. Like I'm basically like hard resetting it every day. Like that's basically what I've come
Oh,
to.
that's fun. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. AirPods Max. Will those ever get a true revision?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, actually, I'm surprised how many people. I mean, so in the San Francisco area, at least, surprising number of people just walking out and about, with these big, heavy headphones on.
It's so
And I guess
crazy
that's
to
just,
see that. It's like,
yeah.
and see them in the gym or whatever. It's like, come on, use the headphones most appropriate for the job. Like, oh
Yeah,
gosh.
well, for the most part, I just think like how tight must you have that on your head to not shake that off? But
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just another signal that I've really basically aged out of what the current trend is, which is fine. it's
Yeah.
it's gonna be, I think that's just a recurring theme. You don't feel younger as you get older.
No, definitely not. I experienced that at a party gathering, whatever, a couple months ago, and I accidentally said this kid was asking some question, and I responded, 6 or 7, and I had no idea about this meme, and then I found what this thing's all about. And felt very, very old.
Yeah, if you're not plugged into TikTok these days, you're gonna essentially lose context on something that's more than a week old, or even in Twitter. I mean, this is actually what's interesting about the tech world now, is this like rapid virality is even reaching companies. Like, so I will say that I've just become very enamored with AI, and like using that more and more in my work and personal projects as well. And if you even just slightly observe those crowds, everyone's just looking for a viral moment, by whatever means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I feel like we're just conditioned now to be influencers, like no matter what industry, no matter for what reason. It's just it's very interesting to me. Again, I'm just sounding old at this point, but
Yeah.
um,
I did have
but
a
anyway, back. Go ahead.
I did have a fun Vision Pro moment today. So I was on the recliner and got up to get something from the kitchen. I came back, and I just see sitting by the recliner, like kind of propped up by the table, little virtual keyboard. And I totally forgotten I had the keyboard up when I left. It's funny to just experience. Oh, there's just the virtual keyboard sitting there. Because I'm used to normal windows just floating up at whatever height, but then I looked at see the keyboard there. It's like looks like a real keyboard. It's just like very thin. It's like
So just so I understand, you had it on, and then you were just sort of like taking your mind on to other things. You went to a different room.
and
You
that's
really
still the
just sort of
keyboard
like
up. Yeah,
unplugged it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's like, oh, there's the keyboard. I forgot I had
yeah.
the keyboard up. Yeah.
It's actually quite. I mean, obviously, I mean, this has been this way for a while now, but it is still a little magical to have this like spatial memory of things, right?
Yeah. And the resolution, I like the family's out of town right now, so I'm using the Vision Pro more on the first floor. Normally it's just in my bedroom. So I'm like walking around more and like having the messages app up and just walking up to it. It's so high resolution, these windows. Like it's just phenomenal just standing next to a
Yeah,
towering messages window that's as tall as I am. It's like
yeah.
it's
Well, it's like your brain
yeah.
starts to, like, when you're just looking at the pass through for quite a while. I think you start to think like, okay, I'm feeling accustomed to a kind of a lower grainy image, and my brain starts to sort of smooth that out. But then all of a sudden, when you have a native window at like full resolution of what it's capable of, and you're just like, oh, whoa, there's like something crazy floating in front of me, and this is like, now I'm like really fooled that there's like
Mm-hmm.
actually something there. And um I was like, went back to the uh it's not Chanel, is I'm trying to think of that like luxury brand that has an app on Apple Vision Pro.
Oh,
Oh,
Gucci,
Gucci.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gucci. Right. So I, like, the first time that like a purse like just kind of like popped in front of my face, I almost like fell out of my chair. It's like,
Yeah, no,
I don't
it's
know.
good. Yeah,
It's really neat. And I think another underappreciated thing on just that, like that resolution quality, comes from the Apple Arcade library. And I don't know if have you tried any of that?
initially, but I canceled the subscription because I don't play enough. But I did,
Yeah.
Jetpack Joyride and all those. I did try them. Tried the Beat Saber. What's it called?
Hmm.
I have it on PSVR 2. It's much better there.
The Beat Saber knockoff. I apologize. I don't know.
Yeah. The Spears.
No offense to that game developer.
Riding
game.
Synth Riders.
Synth Riders, that's it.
Which is amazing on PSVR 2 with the controllers and the haptics. So hopefully they add support for that.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying that they may not automatically get PSVR 2 controller support?
I think they have to implement. Each game needs to do it. So I'm not sure who's doing that.
No excuses. They should do it.
They should.
I also wonder. Yeah. I mean, I haven't played it since they upped the refresh of hand tracking, right? So technically, there's a higher rate, so that just like waving your hands in front of you, like that should technically feel a little snappier than before. Although I feel like maybe you can tell me this more than what I've experienced. Is it enough to like close that gap between what you would get from a controller, or does the controller still feel snappier?
Controller feels snappier, but also just the haptics of the controller is important. If they could put something that's attached to our hands that give us haptics, that would be, because with the like Synth Riders, the haptics tell you if you're on the track or not, right? So it's like this very visceral experience having that feedback.
Yeah. This is actually, so again, it's like when you focus your VR headset on gaming, you do get a couple things, or more than a couple, that are really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so, I mean,
PSVR 2 has head haptics. Like the actual headset has motors in it that provide haptics, which in some games they use it pretty cool. I didn't realize, I didn't know that about the head as well. I mean, because the two things that I experienced at least from the Quest 2 is, when you have a controller as standard, I like Apple's decision to not be of that mindset, right? Like I think hand input is just like supernatural and kind of necessary to really reach a wider audience. Yeah, as a computer, it's the right decision. As a gaming console, that's the wrong decision.
That's right.
Thankfully, the Vision Pro is a computer, not a gaming console.
Yeah. I mean, it's really so much better at so many more things that it's like it's not a decision that I think is bad necessarily, but it is sort of sad. Like when I see the like that table tennis game, what's that new tennis game?
Yeah,
I can't think of the name of it.
I know the game, pickleball or whatever.
Pickleball, yeah, thank you. I know that input experience is just not. It doesn't match what several games on the Quest can do. Like, so that, because that controller has just been there from the beginning on the Quest. The latency is excellent, and there's just like provided APIs and developer things to just make that orientation and like just make that feel really, really good from the get-go. And we're only just now needing to start with that on Vision OS, right? So it's like it's going to take a while to just sort of like have that universal, and then that's going to like be per developer right now. That's not even like a universal way for like every kind of paddle or thing like with my hands to feel really, really good. The game that I want to give a shout out to, oh no, I'm not going to think of the name of it. It's a ping pong game for Quest. I'm going to have to search this. I thought it was like a number 11.
Okay.
11 is has the best input tracking I've experienced in a game. And it's for very low level. I mean, it's like Quest 2 hardware is nothing special as far as like horsepower, but there's just like nothing. You will think I'm hitting a ping pong ball right now. Like it is that good. It is really amazing. And the pickleball one is not there, right? Like it's not there for in a few ways, right? It's just from like the velocity and the trajectory doesn't match like what it should have been when I hit the ball. There's a little bit of a delay when the ball hits. It's still very impressive, and I'm like, I guess I hate kind of complaining about what is a very hard problem, and I'm sure it'll get better. So I'm sorry to whoever's developing that game. But I think that's an area where the Quest is really excelling. But I know that the AVP can catch up to that.
Yeah. One of the coolest eye tracking experiences with PlayStation VR 2, because that is eye tracking as well, is Synapse. This is a game where when you look at an enemy, you can like pick them up and throw them like some sort of like god, or in the Matrix or something, so it's this very connected thing where you got guns and stuff, and you're looking at people to throw them around, and so that's just one example of like where eye tracking, I think, is pretty cool. It'd be cool to see if Vision Pro games would start to do more with the actual eye tracking. I don't know if they actually can, though, from a privacy standpoint, where PlayStation is like, this is a game console, we're going to let you use eye tracking to actually, as a gameplay mechanic. Another thing is on PSVR 2, there's the Before Your Eyes, I think it's called. It's basically an interactive movie almost, where the goal of this game is to make you cry, and it's very sad. But by blinking, by closing your eyes, you move on to the next scene. So like the challenge is like, I'm trying to get as much as I can, but every time you blink, your life moves on to another moment in your life. And I'm not sure if Vision Pro could do some like interactive movie experience where it's using eye tracking to know when you blink to move on to the next scene. So I wonder if Apple will end up addressing these things at some point to have a way where you give explicit permission. Let me use eye tracking to have this entertainment experience.
I had no idea that the PS headset had eye tracking. That's really cool.
Yeah, because it also does the foveated rendering thing as well. But developers can also hook into it for interactive experiences, which is pretty nifty, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprised. I mean, it's not how many years old is that headset at this point?
3 or 4. It's like 2 years older than Vision Pro, I think. So I think like 3 or 4.
And just for my own interest, it hardwires into the PlayStation, right?
Yes, over USB-C, and then there's an adapter.
It draws power. Does it draw its own power, like from that one cable, or
it's one cable for power and video and everything? Yeah.
Yeah, and I assume you can't just like plug that into a random PC and then like kind of play around it there.
Is an adapter now available for like $50 to hook up to PCs as well. I'm not sure what. I know some features are not supported on PC, so I'm not sure how much. Like if eye tracking's on PC, or if it's like more of a dumb headset at that point. But there is like an official adapter now.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it is sort of a question that I always wonder is like, what is the ideal hacker's VR headset? Since even like looking at the Galaxy XR or the Apple Vision Pro or even the Quest line are just like platform locked down in various ways. And so like, like what would you choose if you just wanted to like run whatever you wanted in kind of like just for your own personal experiments or projects, or you want to do eye tracking and that kind of thing. I know there's Xreal is a big one for display mirroring. I just don't know much about. I guess there are actually a set of APIs to do like full VR or stuff like that.
And I'm curious to know
some smaller brands. Yeah,
Steam is releasing something next year, presumably if they're going to stay on schedule. They announced the Steam machine. They also announced a headset with unknown pricing and.
Oh, right. Yeah, and I really respect that they can somehow manage to just sort of like fork everything off of Linux, build like pretty much out in the open, and then still kind of have like enough of like value, and then kind of like a garden of like your like curated app store, Steam OS, all this kind of stuff. Steam, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible to me that they can be like really, really successful, profitable, and still kind of like building open hardware.
It's fascinating. Yeah. I'm so curious in 10 years what Steam looks like with their developing hardware ecosystem is.
Right. I mean, all that said, I'm not interested in any of their hardware right now, but it's still
me either, because I'm like, I'm invested in PlayStation and Nintendo. And then Apple, like I just can't do it. I can't have another ecosystem. I bought an Xbox One back in the day, alongside my PS4, and that was the one and only Xbox I bought. And I've got like a couple games on there that are just locked into that thing. It's like, I guess like too many platforms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one, it's amazing that as far as I know, like, so this new stuff's all running on ARM architecture, which is like the same as Apple Silicon, right? And
Yeah.
they're, it's really insane to me that they've just found a way to like run a huge percentage of Windows based games on ARM. That is not a small problem. Like that takes a lot of engineering. I think there's actually a couple talks, maybe from some Valve employees out there on the internet now, but it's just really impressive to be sort of like it's almost like I don't know if you're familiar with Rosetta, from
Yeah,
Apple,
for
but
sure.
like how you so it's just sort of like running that like completely seamlessly and at like in better speeds than like what it was running before, but then doing that for games which are
Hmm.
running on like DirectX and requiring NVIDIA GPUs and like all that stuff that just doesn't exist on your on this like different type of silicon is insane to me.
Yeah, Microsoft must love them backwards engineering DirectX. I'm sure they're very fond of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Uh,
I guess
but they can't
what
do
is the
anything
state
about it
of
because that would be just that if Microsoft like blocked it, that would be such a oh man, yeah, that would be juicy. But yeah, and Apple's had some like announcements of here's this thing that converts your game for Mac, and such a limited adoption of that, and it seems like Valve did this better than Apple did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I sort of remember that now. You're saying that they kind of like offered some ways for like, okay, you're a PC game, like you're a PC game company, or you have some games out, and then it's like if you want to bring that to the Mac,
Yeah, they have tools to
they
do
like.
that now,
I
but
see.
I
I
don't think
see.
it's heavily used. But that's, I think, part of their push and how they got like Liza P and stuff over on the Mac.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Apple's pretty much all in on Metal, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not really. I mean, as far as I know, there's no big incentive for them to kind of like make. I guess maybe that is what they've done, right? It's like they're gonna like they're not going to do what Valve did. I mean, Valve is basically already translated the game at runtime
Yeah.
to work. And Apple is saying like, well, here's something that like you can recompile your game, or like with very little work you can like make it work on this architecture or use this like GPU language. And but it's the classic Apple thing, right? It's like, well, we think we have these wonderful users that we've spent a lot of time curating and providing a great experience, and we think you can also provide a great experience for you, the user.
Yes.
uh,
Yeah. It just always goes back to like Apple doesn't truly understand games. They just kind of fell into it with the iPhone, and they just don't. I don't think they understand at least hardcore gaming and what those users actually want from
yeah,
platforms.
I guess I 100% agree. I don't know that I want that, because it's like if they did become, I mean, look at how much Microsoft had to like buy their way into being that company. It
Mm-hmm.
was like that was not a small investment, and kind of the same for Meta and how much they spent in Reality Land to just be the big player in that. It's like that's not a
Yeah.
small investment.
It is funny though. Like Apple, they're when I think of like tech companies, they're the ones I think of. Oh, they're the creative company, right? So it's weird that they're the ones that just don't get it and really like. You could almost see like Apple having a building where it's like they have game developers that work for them and they're like being creative and fun and stuff, but they just don't
Hmm.
get it at all, which is
Hmm.
just interesting.
What I love the most, to bring it back again to Apple Vision Pro, or let's bring it back to Vision OS. Like what they have done amazingly well is just getting a ton of like I would say a ton of devs that weren't really building for iOS or for Apple before, building Apple Vision Pro apps, and actually like and so many videographers and storytellers that
Mm.
want to be in this platform that were not really involved in app development in the past. I think that's what actually I love finding in the App Store, like these kind of trawling Reddit occasionally, is, oh, there was someone in China that had a R5C Canon like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and had some footage of like an opera, and is now like sharing this footage in this little test flight app. And it's like I am hungry for that stuff. I love seeing the creative storytelling and also like world sharing, cultural sharing things, right? Like
Hmm.
expanding my viewpoint of things. I'm so glad that Explore POV won App of the Year, because I thought that was just like, I feel like that epitomizes like a lot of like this story that I'm saying, which is like this guy and his company now had no app building experience, but had all the other ingredients were there. Like
The
he lived in a
content.
van, and yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and it was like filming everything already. And the fact that no other headset was just like putting out a resolution even close is just, so it's just such a cool thing. I mean, it's amazing to me that the like this resolution of this headset was like ahead of all the other pieces of the technology, like as
Mm-hmm.
far as like serving it, capturing it, storing it. Like we're scrambling to catch up to these things, but like the LCDs inside, or OLEDs inside
OLEDs, yeah.
the headset, those were ready. And the hardware that can actually like process that many bits was ready. And so like I'm really glad I mean, of course I love that there's a $40,000 camera that can capture this, but it would be great if there was like a $500 camera that could get pretty close. So that's kind of like what
Yeah.
I'm waiting for
That's
right
what I'd
now.
love to. Yeah, I'd love to see something like that released. Like have a GoPro style thing that's for immersive.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people out there doing like these hacks on 360 cameras, so they're like actually cutting one in half and then turning one of the lenses to be front facing.
I
And
love
it's like,
that.
all right, well, I love what you're doing here. Like, let's keep going. Let's just up the resolution a bit, and those are like around 1,000. So it's like we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's still pretty. I'd say it's still pretty niche, but
Yeah. Back in the 2010s or whatever, the GoPro had this 3D rig where you could buy a housing for two GoPro cameras, and you have a cable that connected the two of them, and that would let you capture 3D GoPro. There was like a 3D set you could buy, and I had this thing, and it was like this. It felt so pioneering back in the day, and
Definitely. Well, it's funny is like I was thinking like, well, and I am in a group with a few of your previous guests, Matt Fisher being the most recent one.
mm-hmm.
And I've asked the question there. I say like, why, if I'm not happy with like the current cameras out there, why can't I just take two iPhones and put them about eye distance apart from each other and just record, two videos and put it back? And which seems pretty reasonable, right?
Yeah, you get a rig that keeps them in the same place, right? Yeah.
And I think for the most part, it could work. But I guess when you're talking to the people that do this for a living, they kind of say, like, well, you're going to get a headache because if you're off by a
Even a little bit.
microsecond, yeah,
Yeah.
then it's going to start like drifting, and it's gonna either make you sick or it's just not going to look right. And which is why even like with a tether, these things are actually like it's like actually a pretty technically difficult problem to like keep these time codes matched up. What's cool is the iPhone 17 Pro has Gen Lock, and that could actually solve that problem to like keep these things perfectly in sync. And so if you, I mean, if you, but the funny thing is that once you've bought two 17 Pros, you're at a price that you probably could get like a dedicated VR rig that would just be better anyway than two iPhone 17s, but you never know. So I guess that is one thing I have experimented with. The things that this is all a spare time thing for me. My day job is iOS on the Snapchat app, but I definitely love playing around with this. I was really working on spatial video stuff even when they first gave out the white paper on the format.
Yeah.
So then I don't know. I think the sequence of things was like they came out with that white paper. I read that and I said, well, I have no idea what's being said here, and I don't know how to, parse this. And then they released their APIs, so you could technically go into, your Mac and unlock the the method of actually like encoding this video. Mike Swanson saved us all by writing this demo code and just made that open source for anyone to kind of lean off of. And that, uh, for a few months, I think that was the standard. And like a lot of
Mhm.
people went to this one repository from this, this developer to do their things. And so I was playing around with a lot. And part of my I love to kind of imagine, where this stuff could go with my day job. And so my day job is like, well, okay, Snapchat, we've kind of got this VR and AR story, and I'm being kind of coy here. Like, of course, we have a big AR story, but
Yeah.
we've also had, spectacles for quite a while, like way longer than any other company. And a few of these models had stereo cameras. Like they didn't just have one, they had
Mm-hmm.
two. And so then I started thinking, like, well, wait, can't this like be re-encoded as spatial video? And like that was like a huge deep dive. It was a lot of weekend, side. Like it's like again, if I'm not doing this in my working hours, I'm technically deferring work that I've said I would be doing. So it was definitely a like after hours kind of thing. But I went and dug and I talked to a handful of people. Turns out there aren't really all that many people left, from those days of like the early spectacles classes. But I found that there's actually like a whole swath of like snaps and stories, and people. If you've ever taken a snap, it goes to your memories.
Okay.
So for
Yep.
all of this, like if you've taken basically that those with a particular pair of spectacles,
Yeah, I'm
you still
looking
have
on eBay
yeah,
right
good.
now. I got Spectacles One original in teal, everything included. It's currently at 1050. A good price there.
Yeah,
There's one for 200 for buy now, but that's the Spectacles 2. So it seems like the 1 and 2, I'm seeing it. It's got those two cameras there.
it's it. Now I would say that the V3s are my favorite. That's like the real
So
avant-garde.
V3's got two cameras as well. Is
It
that like
does, yeah.
okay? So that's like the last one with the dual stereoscopic cameras.
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly. Which was like really there were only three versions ever produced of the what we call like the classic spectacles. Yeah, that was the last one.
those are not on eBay as much as I'm seeing. I'm looking through here.
Ah,
People are hanging
okay.
on those, or they sold
Yeah.
less. I'm not sure which. Gen
It's
One
one
is
of
all
those
over the place. It seems. Yeah,
yeah. Well, that was like they were showing up in like sort of airdropped
they have
what do
vending
they call like
machines.
dispensers, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I will say I was not a Snapchat user at that time. Like I actually didn't become a Snapchat user until much later, but
Am I right that Snapchat is like biggest in Europe? Is that inaccurate to say, or?
we're growing. I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything specifically. I know that like we've publicly been growing, which is like shocking to anyone you tell that you're working at Snapchat. They say,
Yeah.
"Oh, you mean the thing that nobody's using?" I say, you know
Because
what? We're
I have
actually
to
growing.
I have to say I've never really used it. I like iMessage is like the thing I live in, and then I've got
Yeah.
family that is on Android that insists I use their Google Chat thing every once in a while for that stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, no, it's definitely not rare amongst my friend group and my family as well. I also know families where Snapchat is really just like the primary, like it may as well be WhatsApp. It's just like
right.
every single thing is shared back and forth. And I think that they were kind of onto something that we made a really good Android app, like maybe kind of midway through its cycle. So it's actually like a quite an easy and quick way to swap a bunch of photos back and forth between like a multi-platform family. Like you got Android
Yeah,
people, you got iOS people. It's also like it is now the fastest camera on your iPhone. It is way faster to take a photo than using the camera app it proper.
interesting. Yeah.
And so, I still like it as that like low stakes, low friction, great chatting, great communication between the people that you are close to. But I'm also
Hmm.
here not here to like defend
Yeah, yeah.
Snapchat's audience, but like because it is growing. But yeah, I also agree that it is kind of a surprising thing to hear. And but there are like developing markets where it's probably growing faster, but I don't even know for sure if that's the case. Yeah.
The I'm looking at just the App Store page. The slide that has caught my interest is the AI snaps where you can, make
Hmm.
yourself look like you're somewhere else. And
And I love that. I mean, that team has been firing really well. Even like, so obviously there's been like the big LLM AI
hmm
boom of like the last, year or two. But this was like classic, machine learning algorithms, like generating these like viral lenses. Like that's like that team's just been leveling up for, several years, even before that. Um, and it's kind of funny that like we were kind of like setting these like really viral. I think the most common one or like the most memorable one was maybe like 2 to 3 years ago, where like you just point at someone's face and then they just kind of look like their face is melting more or less. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but their eyes are bulging. And but the point is that we were seeing that someone like we'd be generating these really viral ones, and then like a month later they'd show up on TikTok and they'd show up on Instagram as
Right.
native AI lenses.
Yeah.
Not trying to throw any shade or anything, but
No, no.
I'd say the copy machines kind of continue here and there.
Yeah, I have definitely heard that basically Facebook is a copying press. Like, Redmond started your photocopiers from Apple back in the day.
Exactly,
Basically,
exactly.
That's Facebook.
That was for the launch of was that Snow
Vista,
Leopard or
right?
even
Vista
Vi-
and then Leopard or whatever, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but like for the it was like a Macworld when they were launching.
What
Maybe
was
like
it?
Leopard or something
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
something. Yeah. And then, yeah. Those were such
Yeah, that was
fun
great.
days of.
Well, it really, what was
Yeah.
so nice, so really nice is that our old office, we're not in there. So I'm in a satellite office, right? The main
Mhm.
headquarters is in Santa Monica, but the old office was almost directly across the street from Moscone West, which is like where the Macworld was held every
Yeah.
year in the city. So it was just like such a cool like walk past and be like, I remember the year. Like I went when I was maybe in middle school with my dad one time, so
Mhm.
I just have like great memories of that Macworld. And I just like, just such classic times here,
Yeah.
classic Apple.
I went to Macworld/iWorld. That was the one I went to. It was after Steve Jobs and Apple stopped doing keynotes and stuff, but it was still a fun time. Yeah.
Okay, so that a few. They just continued them a few years, but then like fully ended them at some point.
They fully ended them at some point. I probably went to
Okay.
one of the last ones. Maybe there was one
Okay.
more after I went that one time, but yeah.
What was the like big announcement, or like was it an OS update, or like what was the?
I mean, there
kind of
wasn't any
key thing?
Apple things there. It was just like
I
vendors
see.
and stuff. It was third parties and stuff. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, it was fun. Community gathering, met a lot of people
Yeah.
in the community and all that. So
It would be fun. It'd be interesting to see an Apple Vision Pro conference at some point of that. I guess of that caliber. And I'm
that'd
sure
be
that there
cool.
are, like meetups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, with enthusiasts and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was such a scene. As far as I miss conventions, like I went to E3 once.
Oh,
It was
man.
when the Wii U was being announced. I think I went through. I was working at a company that was covering Apple stuff, and they were based in Los Angeles, so it was just like a thing. And I wasn't really into gaming at the time, but it was like, oh, this is quite the thing here.
I was gonna say. I mean, if you don't go to conferences, I feel like that's one of the like mega conferences.
Yeah, that was quite the scene. I remember some just like booths, and it was very cool. I remember meeting the Fruit Ninja guys in a private little room. I met like
that's cool.
the head guy there. I forget his name. He had a beard. Very nice guy.
So were they? I mean, that's actually an interesting story because that was such a hot like original iPhone app, and I don't know if it was like from like launch or if it was a few years in.
It was
But,
huge. And then they did Jetpack
yeah.
Joyride, which I also was big into.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's the same developer. Cool.
Pretty positive those are the same guys. Half Brick, yeah. I think.
Well,
those
how
are the
cool
same
that they
guys.
have basically an Apple Arcade, title on. I mean, they've got Fruit Ninja on Apple Vision Pro. I mean,
They do,
that's,
yeah. They also have a
Yeah.
Jetpack Joyride port there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Actually, that was a thought I was meaning to finish that thought because I feel like, I would never, I guess I wouldn't be paying for Apple Arcade if it wasn't bundled with the like overall Apple One plan. But I guess in this case, this is like, I actually love that I have the arcade titles in the Vision Pro. I don't really play any of the arcade titles on my iPhone or iPad or
Yeah.
Mac or any of that. But it's just like essentially a handful of like really compelling. I mean, I feel like a really solid sort of slate of spatial games,
I
right?
wish I could buy some of them just standalone because it's like, yeah, they're exclusive to there, and you need the subscription to get them. It's like,
Mhm.
so I'll like resubscribe every now and then, but I'd love to just be able to purchase them. For
And this is kind of what will be sort of the unfortunate thing going forward is like there's a chicken and egg problem to really building up a good game library, which has always been the problem on Apple platforms. And you won't really, you won't see AAA titles for a long time. Maybe we don't even see them on the Mac or iOS, right? So like if you're not seeing them there, you're probably like it's just so I feel like Apple Arcade's really going to be our like one of the few ways that we get like really compelling stuff. I can't say that sentence without plugging Ethan's app table space as well, because like there are like people doing cool stuff. Ethan was I think he's been your guest a couple times, hasn't
Yes, yep, a couple times. Yeah, good guy.
he? Yeah, and
He's
he's
fun,
working
fun
in
to chat with. Yeah.
yeah, I think I assume he's still working in Unity, right? So like that actually
Mhm.
is a good entry point to, put out to multiple platforms. And I feel like that was like, as long as like that relationship continues to flourish between Apple and the Unity folks, like that would be ideal, because it's just, especially when it comes to games, it's not really ever a good ROI if you have to be using the tool set like from each company directly. And I think
Totally.
that's also, yeah.
And I very, very much wonder, could AAA games run on the Vision Pro as far as power? Like, maybe M5, yes. M2, maybe not. Like, VR gaming is so intensive that I wonder.
I will say to that, my response there is if someone can get Mario 64 to run at 60 frames a second on a Nintendo 64 hardware, you can do the same for Apple Vision Pro apps. It's really just more of like no one is putting in the
Optimization.
time to optimize.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I got the analog 3D in the other day, and
I got it too.
Is remarkable. I have a collection of about 104 N64 games, so I've got quite the library to pick from.
Is that most of the of the total? Like,
well, my goal. So yeah, 10 years ago, I was like, what gaming console can I just get everything for? So I was looking through the list of Nintendo ones. It's like there are only, I think, 300 games in total for N64. So I'm like a third of the way
you're
there.
getting there. Yeah.
It was fun going through the live.
Was there any like what nostalgia really triggered? Like what is there a title that just really connected with you?
Well, there was one baseball game that I remember just loving and being great at as a kid, and I loaded it up, and I was just I was terrible at it. It was great to like load up because I was like, oh, I remember this. This is great. And they get the stadiums, the old logos and everything. It's like, but I was just, I'm not hitting. I'm not pitching. It's like I'm terrible at this game. It's like
maybe the controller was like gunked up or something.
Yeah, that must have been it. Yeah, I did discover a random golf game that was like worth $110 loose that I owned. It's like some PGA European Tour game. It's like, this is random. I bought this for like $5 a decade ago. And now it's like this rare game.
Ugh. Well, that's like, okay. So I really got burned by never getting seriously into Magic the Gathering, but I was around for its first iteration. I was in elementary school when the game came out. Like I was primed to basically gather all the really valuable cards, and it was too confusing. I didn't learn it. I so regret that, because I had like one deck. And I think over COVID, I was like going online, like, oh, I've got like, like a couple really valuable cards here. And now I finally learned how to play the game, and it's fun. And I just like, wow, all these years that I just missed out on it. Although without Google, it was a much more difficult game to both learn and play. Right.
Right. Yes. But yeah, Road Rash, I loaded that guy up, and that holds up,
Is that like I don't know that.
It's a biking game where you got weapons and you're trying to hit people to get them off their bikes. It's a very violent game.
Wow, that's a very atypical Nintendo with such violence. And
yeah, Knockout Kings 2000 was another great N64 game, a boxing game. I think I just spent all my time on Star Fox, to be fully transparent. Rogue Squadron I used to be good at, and now I play that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I used to be good. This is hard.
Do you have the pod racing one?
I do. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That was ahead of its time, graphically speaking. Like,
right. I was wondering, like, I was like, oh, it was, if you have the memory pack, it runs at a higher frame rate. And I'm really curious to try it again to see, like, what were we talking? Like 30 frames a second was high frame rate? Like in my mind, it's like as a kid, I was like, oh, it looked amazing. But
yep.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rogue Squadron was
Battle for Naboo is another great one. Like, yeah, there's Triple Play 2000 was the one I was thinking of. That's the baseball game that I just loved as a kid.
What about Superman 64?
Superman?
Yeah,
Oh,
Superman.
oh, that what? I do not have that one in my collection. I should.
Infamously terrible, I think is
Yes.
the way to put that
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yeah. No, I discovered an Elmo game that I bought probably for $2 that I'm curious to load that up and see what my daughter thinks of it.
Hmm.
So we're gonna put
Actually,
at
yeah.
yeah, at some point I'm gonna put it in the living room and show her the concept of here's a cartridge and this is what you pop this in and the game comes out on the other side.
I do think about this as like a much superior way to introduce kids to games that is different from saying like here's a smartphone, now go play, Candy Crush or something along
Yes,
those lines.
yes. We have a Switch Lite that is kind of our current conduit into some light video gaming.
Yeah.
Um, we have like
Well,
a
Nintendo's always cared about gamers, I think, in a kind of a very different way than everybody else.
for sure, yes. Well, I could talk about it for hours, but it's probably not what most people tuning in are
Yeah,
interested
fair.
in. But if someone wants to make an N64 emulator for the Vision Pro, that'd be cool. Imagine if
Definitely.
it could, N64. Imagine if they could, on the fly, convert it to 3D stereoscopic 64 games. That could be a wild experience, I think.
I feel like I have so many ideas that come in. Even thinking of like a 2D scroller. Here's the other take that I have, which is I feel like not enough apps yet have really pushed the boundaries of an immersive environment, or not
Mm-hmm.
environment, like going into immersive mode and really pushing that. There's been a few apps that have done a pretty good job. It's like that museum one that I can't think of the name of, but they have sort of like an endless scrolling
Yeah.
list of like portraits or art, and I want to see more things like that. I want to see things basically like traveling into like infinity in like an
Mm-hmm.
immersive way, right? Because it's like we can do this. Even something like I was thinking like visualizing your family tree or something. Like why is there not
Oh, yeah.
like just something that like really can kind of go off in the distance. I even had this idea of I feel like my elementary school did this thing where they tried to show you the distance of the solar system by saying like the sun is this basketball. All right, now we're gonna like walk 100 meters to be like the closest planet, Mercury, which is the size of a BB, and then like just like shrink the whole solar system down to like actually give you a real scale of the size of things. That
Mm-hmm.
would be an amazing Vision Pro app. Is just to get a feel for something like that. You could easily like whoever did the Rocket app, that's a super cool one.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of that one, but like seeing the scale of a Saturn V rocket like right in front of you, I love that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the car app as well that you can have the cars like in full scale if you have room for it in your living room.
Yeah, I've seen like so it's a Porsche one, and then there's maybe like a Formula One one. Am I missing any on that?
I forget the entire library, but there is like one
Okay,
that's I forget the name of it. I need to look it up.
okay.
Um, One thing I've noticed, and I would love a setting for this in Vision OS like 27 or earlier. Certain environments, you like load up an environment for a movie, and some of them you basically can't see anything except your hands directly. Other ones, like you load up like a lake or something, like Mount Hood or something, you can see this little area in front of you, which is very helpful for like food so and stuff like that. Um, and then Jupiter and like the movie theater, it like blacks out everything around you pretty much for the environment. I'd love a mode where you can say, have this little bubble in front of me where I have full visual acuity of my surroundings versus like
Yeah,
it being it's basically an environment by environment basis. I would also love a mode where I could tell like the cinema environment to let the cinema be on the ceiling versus always locking to the wall in front of me.
yeah, that's an interesting one because it's like I feel like they're making trade offs between I would say immersion because it's like Well, okay, I'm in a real theater because I can't
Yes.
actually orient a theater this way, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because it's so annoying. Because I'd love to use the cinema more, but often I need this. I need the screen on the ceiling. So it's like, let me load up Jupiter. So that'll be a nice dark one. But I'd love the cinema. Just like angle it differently, please.
Yeah.
I know it's not realistic to have a cinema that's angled towards the ceiling, but yeah.
I will say I've been very impressed by Apple's rate of improvements to the OS. They seem like they've I feel like they're really backing up their like this is a 10-year commitment so far. As
Yeah.
far as like the number of new APIs and then just the OS features that continue to come out. I've been pretty pleased. Yeah.
Mhm. No, it's been great. I had a weird battery life experience yesterday. So I was watching Nuremberg, and a great movie, highly recommended for those looking for someone to watch this holiday season.
Mm.
But I took it at the 2 hour point. I took it and just said, let me do battery powered only. Let me not be tethered to a wall. And by the end of the movie, I had 50% battery life. I was like, there's no way this thing could last for 4 hours watching a movie. This is an M2. And then within like 2 minutes of the movie ending, it dropped like 7%. It's like, I don't know what's going on with the percentage. I don't know if the percentage just is wildly inaccurate or what's have you had experiences with like the percentage not really being linear in any sort of logical way?
That's interesting. I mean, I guess if you're a heavy user, I'll just tell you this from like my battery tech experience because I mean, I was a way back in the day. I was an Apple Store employee, so I had a lot of like, "Hey, my battery's broken" on my iPhone type
Right, yes.
interactions. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's just sort of like phased out of whack, where it's like there's a certain voltage that it's like producing, but it has lost track of where that is in the battery. But so it's like if you just do like a full drain, but even like keep it dead 24 hours past the full drain,
Yeah.
and then do a full charge, like you could see a recalibration occur there. That's super interesting. Like that does seem like kind of a unique issue. Because even I'm sure you know this already. The battery puck undercharges it caps the charge at like 80 percent or something.
Yeah,
So
like 100% isn't. Yeah, it's got so much headroom in the battery for I think battery health considerations.
exactly,
So
exactly. Yeah.
like, and they don't display battery health, which I'd love them in one of these OSs to reveal that because my hunch is it'll still be at 100% because of the way the battery's designed.
Exactly. Right. I feel like battery health is actually just not a concern unless there's like a true defect in the battery, which a diagnostic can actually find on a very rare occasion. But yeah, I would agree with that guess, which is that if you're really capping it at 80, you could give that thing thousands of cycles and never see, like more than like a 1 or 2% drop in health. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, very logical. But like your drawdown definitely seems strange. I haven't seen that myself. That is pretty curious.
And then the run from 10 to 0 also seems way faster than any other percentage area. Like I'm at 10%. I'm at 10%. Then like 2 minutes later, oh, we're at 1%. Plug that sucker in, please, quickly.
Yeah, you really should be linear with that. I will say that is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just me or if, other people. They're at 10%. Then like 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, we're at 1 right now. And
It does seem funny that it keeps every app in memory. Like it seems very unaggressive, non-aggressive about killing background apps.
yeah, which I
Which is very,
appreciate.
I suppose there are some advantages, but it's like if I have like a big, I don't know, like sometimes it's like, okay, I know I've got like a game running and now I'm gonna like open Safari. Like I don't really want that game still running.
Sure. Yeah.
But but yeah, it's also for just as far as iOS, it seems like such a big departure because if you're on an iPhone and you're an iOS developer, you just kind of know that they're super aggressive about killing, background apps.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of be prepared for that to happen at any point.
Are you still a Juno user by any chance?
Yes and no. I've kind of noticed that it's deteriorated a little bit.
Well, recently YouTube has really been ruining my Juno life here. Have you noticed if the
Yeah.
window is anything but a tiny window, it has this nice overlay of other related videos it now shows on there.
Oh, no, that sounds that sounds like we've maybe reached the like the end of its
The
useful life if
Yeah,
that's the
the only
case.
solution I found is to like you can do the thing where you can zoom in on a window without making the window resized. So I'll do that as a temporary like solution to like make it a little bit bigger, where I like zoom in and then the controls are all bigger too and stuff. You know what I'm talking about? How you can do that with Windows?
Right. Well, I think all I have to say about this is Apple just needs to grit its teeth and build a YouTube app for Apple Vision Pro. It's not the
Or
first time,
pay
you know.
Google a lot of money to put it on there.
I know. Well, I mean, that's what, iPhone iOS 1.0 had a YouTube app
It did.
built by Apple. And
It is
I,
non-functional anymore. I have my original iPhone, and if you try to load that app, it is not working.
oh, I forgot you had mentioned that. I am so jealous that you still have your original. My original iPhone was stolen at Disneyland of all
Oh, that's
places.
so sad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have two original iPhones. I got the one I actually used, which is like basically looks like from that book where it's all like worn away and looks great. And then I've got a
Are you talking
set.
about the however expensive, like the $300 Apple design?
Yes, yes, yeah. The Hanky had an iPhone in there. It's like kind of looks like that, where it's the aluminum's all worn down and looks very nice. But I have a second one I bought like a couple of years after the iPhone was out, and it was unupdated. It was like version 1.0.3. So I've got that phone as well, which is fun to load up.
Nice. Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm getting that you're a fan of classic hardware. That's what I'm getting right now.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Have you
Uh,
tried tinkering? There's like kits you can buy to like rebuild like an original like Commodore or something like that. Like, have you gotten into
oh, that would be
soldering or anything
fun.
like
But
that?
no. And I'm not sure, like, I have no experience with stuff that old. Like, Nintendo Entertainment System would be my first, like, console. So I have
Yeah,
no nostalgia for, like, Atari or that stuff.
gotcha. Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
yeah.
It's pretty amazing to think like, yeah, like essentially, I think there's even like one for the Apple One, I want to say, but like they just give you like basically a box of the chips and like a wafer, and it's like you can just like resolder everything onto it, like just like feeling
Yeah.
like you're Steve Jobs in a garage, like building one of these things. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nifty. That'd be a fun, just, like, winter project. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So the spectacles, did the cameras improve from generation 1 to 3?
Yeah, quite a bit. Although it's kind of funny. I mean, they clearly were built, with like a snaps in mind. They're pretty rough. I mean, when you look at them today, they're not even like essentially you have like the fisheye lenses and there's no like image correction, like there's no warping correction going on. So like when you're just looking at the raw photo, it looks like you're looking out of a porthole in a submarine or something.
Okay.
Um, but it's like to finish, like I just to kind of connect to what I was saying earlier, like I was thinking, okay, I've got like, there's not only my own stereo content here, but like, yeah, potentially dozens of people in the world are still using these glasses and maybe they would have some interest in this. And so
Yeah.
I just kind of like looked into, yeah, creating spatial images and spatial video. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of interesting. Like on the early versions of Vision OS, you could not do spatial images, so that took a couple versions to get that working. But with the help of some AI, which I guess what was also amazing is that this work began on my own. And
Okay.
then
Yep.
about midway between then and now, I think GPT-4 dropped and it just sort of like changed my life forever. And all these like little side projects that were kind of just on the back burner started like being like, oh, I can just start churning through this stuff. So I ended up getting a really kind of cleaned up pipeline where um, I could just take these photos and start generating spatial content out of it. And it obviously took a little tweaking to get like, there's all these variables of like, Is the disparity correct? Is the distance correct? So like all these little numbers that you're supposed to plug into the content so that when you're actually looking at it in the Vision Pro, it doesn't look blurry. It doesn't like give you a headache. It's like, yeah, like little things like that. And
Hmm.
the spectacles were never designed to actually create stereoscopic content. So I would
What
say that,
was the design as far as having two cameras there? If it wasn't for that,
yeah.
though.
Well, that's a good. I guess I should refine that a bit.
Yeah,
One,
yeah.
I wasn't there at the time, so I can't say that it wasn't.
Because it does
You could
look. I think
actually
it looks. I
upload.
think the glasses
Yeah,
do look better having two cameras. It looks the symmetry. I think actually
yeah,
looks
yeah.
nice.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
so glad they do. I mean, it's like I was actually at first I was actually planning to like actually root a pair of Meta glasses, and then I learned after the fact, it's like, oh wait, none of them have more than one camera.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And so it kind of like took the wind out of my sails a little bit. But then when I saw these, like, you know, like I went back to the old spectacles, I was like, oh, wait, they do. Um, and there was so I guess buried in the memories settings, and it's still there in the app as we speak. You can export and upload to YouTube VR as a
Okay.
VR 180 video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's where I just kind of said like, well, okay, I've looked at YouTube VR, especially on the Quest, and yeah, that's like fine, but it'd be really cool to have a full like modern spatial format that would play in 2D or 3D, and I could just like put it onto whatever headset I want, right? Like the
Hmm.
Quest, I think as like in an update, you can play these formats on the Quest. You can play this format on Apple Vision Pro. I think for the moment, the Android XR does not support it. I think when I checked recently,
Interesting. Yeah, it
but
was kind of funny. Meta quickly like tried to figure out how to play back the spatial videos on their platform too. It's like,
yeah,
yeah,
I wouldn't expect. I would expect it to be a pretty easy update to actually support. You know, like
yeah, yeah.
everything, because like everything in like the so the format is MV it's really just the same. It's the same format that we play all of our things on with just like a little bit of extra. There's nothing crazy going on in there, so I'd be pretty shocked if it took them that long
Right.
to basically add support for. But they also probably want to direct everyone to YouTube right now, right? If you're
Hmm.
using Android XR, but I kind of lost my train of thought. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so I was just saying that you know got those pipelines cleaned up. Um, and oh yeah, yeah. So like
So this is an app
in this
that's going to
buried
be. This
setting,
is a Vision Pro app that hooks into your Snap account.
it's so more simple than that.
Okay.
It's if I'm in Snapchat and I'm in my memories and I happen to have owned a pair of spectacles with stereo cameras at some point in the past, and I chose to export that memory, and where I once received the VR 180 export option, I now, or at least very soon,
Hmm.
wink wink, may wink wink, have an option to export to Apple's spatial video format.
Oh, nice. And then you just throw that in your Photos app or
And yeah,
send
and
that
then
to. Yeah.
it's just in the standard share sheet at that point. You can
Nice.
airdrop
Okay.
or do whatever. Yep,
Cool.
exactly.
How's the output compared to like a native Vision Pro or the iPhone spatials? Like they're older cameras. Like what's that experience like for from what you've tested?
It's a really great question. I mean, it's for the most part, it's I would say definitely better than the AI generated, like or even the like Apple Intelligence generated stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and not terrible, not great.
Yep.
As
Gotcha.
to quote the Dimitrov from Chernobyl, you know,
Yes.
deep cut there, but the it's very viable. I mean, it's like, you know, it'll just open up in like a kind of a smaller window, but
Hmm.
you just get the full depth effect from it.
Nice.
And I think there's just something really cool about just getting back to like, especially if you've been like, if you've had these for years, um, this is like as magical as the Apple Intelligence thing, where it's like, oh, I've like got some old memory here, and now all of a sudden it's in 3 dimensions. It's feeling like I'm like actually looking into like a little time portal or something,
Yeah.
right? Um, so it's really engaging in that sense. I mean, I'm a really big fan of taking spatial photos. I wish I remembered to do it more often. And my main iPhone right now is the Air, so I actually don't even have that. You know,
Yeah. Mine
as my
too. Um,
There you go.
and it was
Um,
on the previous podcast mentioned Spatial Media Toolkit was the app that allowed me to give me permission to say I can just live with one camera and have this AI app convert this stuff to 3D for me, and that output's been phenomenal in my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's like I always sort of catch the little glitches, like if it's not like perfectly outlining the subject or
Sure.
like
Yeah.
for trees and things like that. That's where actually the spectacles are like fantastic at. Like you're in some kind of shrub or complex,
Yeah.
environment. It's like, no, it looks great. It looks just like I was standing there. Um because yeah, it doesn't have to use any AI to like cut the thing out. But to
Totally.
that point, it's in a couple more years, the AI is just going to get better, and you can just
Mm-hmm.
take your 2D photo, and it's just going to be better. So I
Yep.
really do kind
I
of
mean,
like agree that having the stereo cameras is probably not on the sort of short list of any of these companies because it's just going to be that much easier and accurate to do it
yeah.
with
So I've
AI. Yeah,
just taken 4K 60 videos, and like that stuff looks phenomenal in the conversion. It'll look better in
yeah.
more years to come. Um, and Apple still limits their spatial captures to 1080p 30 frames a second, even though we've got a nice high resolution wide angle camera now. So I don't get it.
Well, that's why someone, wink, wink, needs to work on two iPhones, next to each other.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
something that like I will say this is like beyond this Snapchat thing I'm doing. I would love to find cheap, easy ways to capture spatial footage, and so I've been looking at that. I've also been looking like I've been getting into Gaussian splats quite a bit.
Mm.
I don't know if you looked at the Slam code that Apple put out last week.
No. And can you describe Gaussian spots for those unfamiliar?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, the short end of it is you have like this radiance field tech, and it's really just saying like, okay, I'm going to take either like just like a handful of photos of a scene that I would put in as the human,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just running. It's just like basically running AI to first get like a spatial understanding of like, okay, like where was the camera for each of these photos. So like it does that as like kind of like the first pass,
Okay.
and then the second pass is recreate this in a point cloud, which is very, very easy for a GPU to render at the time that I'm like running through. So what you can do is this is like different from photogrammetry, where photogrammetry is just going to kind of like create like a 3D model, just like a 3D model in a video game or something
Mm-hmm.
like, with like geometry. And I might be
Yeah.
butchering these explanations, by the way. Nobody come yelling at me afterward on the wrong terminology here.
Yeah.
but, but,
But it
uh,
sounds like you're
but
basically taking a bunch of photos of a room you're in, and
yep.
from all those photos, it can create a like digital version of that room, like but based
Exactly,
on that
exactly.
information.
So it's really like it is that simple. But what makes it pretty magical is because it's so like this type of point cloud. So it's like Gaussians because it's just something that's like very easy for a GPU to render.
Mm-hmm.
You can have something photoreal and be able to walk through it at like full 90 frames a second. So it's like I can sit here in my room with my iPhone. I can take about 20 photos if I just like kind of like spin in a circle, take photos under the table, take photos of the ceiling. um, you know, then when that comes out, I have like a 100 megabyte file that I can pop into this viewer, and it feels like I'm there. It's photoreal, and it's 6 degrees of freedom, meaning that I can like walk around this space if I have the room in my, like if I'm standing in my garage and I actually have the room to walk around, I can fully walk around this
Huh.
space and feel like I'm in a photoreal space.
Do you
Yeah,
have to take the
it's pretty
photos
incredible.
within that app, or can you load up photos you took in the past?
It's completely separate. So the number of like products that generate that thing is like is a huge industry, right? Like there are
Okay.
free tools, there are
Yep.
some paid tools. Um, the one I don't even know if I remember the name. Like I actually paid a subscription to an iOS app that's gonna kill me. I'm not remembering that, but yeah, I mean it's an ongoing thing. There's tons and tons of products that say, oh, like give me some photos and I'll give you back this splat file.
Okay. I'd love to. I need to like dig up old photos from my childhood bedroom or something and see if I could.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's actually even a more interesting point, right? Is like assuming you have a non-perfect set of photos, like even like from like you're saying from your past. Um, as AI gets better, it could I mean,
Upscaling
that would be
and
pretty
yeah.
cool. Yeah, well, not even upscaling, but just being able to like reconstruct. I want to say that this is what the New York Times did only a couple days ago when they reviewed the new White House renovations.
Mm,
They created a 3D reconstruction. I think they used Gaussian splats for it.
yeah.
That's my prediction. But no one actually stood in the White House and actually scanned it. They only used photos from the media, from the press,
Ah, okay.
to generate it. And then they created this really cool like interactive story based on all the like gold that you know who added to the office. But anyway,
Yeah.
on to on to other topics. The Gaussian splats are amazing. I feel like it's barely getting tapped into right now. It's a heavily like NVIDIA GPU thing, and it's
hmm
only just starting to bud into metal and like rendering directly on Apple hardware. And so like
Okay.
Apple coming out with Slam is pretty neat. It's like a type of Gaussian splat. It's taking a 2D photo and actually kind of like creating something out of nothing to like give it some depth, and like you can actually kind of look behind somebody even though there wasn't
Mm.
anything in the photo behind them, but it can kind of guess what's behind them.
So
It's pretty
Slam is
engaging.
from a single photo.
Yeah, it's just like it's a proof of concept. It's like a
Okay.
scientific white paper. It's directly from Apple. They've clearly got people working on variations of this problem. Like everything in the personas technology is also Gaussian splats.
I see.
So
Yeah.
because it's just a way like you think like a photoreal thing, like it looks very photoreal, but it's not using polygons like you would like kind of
hmm
typically do on a GPU.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. There's just not much code out there. There's not many people working on it on Apple platforms, and that's a really big thing. And I have like tons of ideas on what to do with this. I think the Apple Vision Pro is like really well situated for this because of its high resolution displays as well. So like because if you have a photoreal space and you're inside of it, you don't want to like you want to feel like really immersed in that.
Totally.
Yeah, it's all very cool. Like I said, the actual product ideas for this are in the early stages, right?
hmm
There's a lot of people on LinkedIn. There's a lot of like small companies doing stuff with this, selling different experiences, selling technologies to either generate or support. But it's just like a cool confluence of all of like a couple things I like. I'm like really getting into AI, and I'm really getting into like VR, and it's just like it's a good mixture of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if Apple had in the environment tab a button to create your own environment and just like walk around your space to create that as a environment you can return to.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually something that the MetaQuest has as of
Yes,
like a
I've
few months
heard
ago.
of
Yeah.
people that have tried that, and it's remarkable from what I hear. It's like
Yeah.
really well done.
This is I mean really the one missing piece I think is like Meta is actually going pretty heavy into generative AI for VR developers. And I don't quite know yet if it's all just kind of flash in the pan or if some of that's actually worth paying attention to. But
Mm.
it's tedious and hard to build immersive content, right? Like so it's like if
Yes.
you and it's like I think that's part of like everyone's looking for generative AI as the savior, and it can be a lot in some ways. And I know that even building like with Swift UI and building for Vision Pro apps, like it's really cool to see some people in the community build apps who have never built apps and are even saying how they've been using Claude Code and some other things
Yeah.
to help them with that. And I don't have you tried Claude Code at all?
I have not. I need to because I'm not a developer, but I think maybe with Claude, I could figure some stuff out. Maybe.
It'd be worth trying, I mean,
Yeah.
especially like you can get a couple, like get kind of like I'm sure there's like a few people who've sort of like set the groundwork of like this is how I did it or this is how I built an
hmm
iOS app, and then you have Joseph who's like collected an amazing set of like technologists and also like API notes
Yeah.
of
Just feed
Vision
it into
OS
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And there's even like some ways to kind of ingest that like in an easier way. And yeah, you might have some fun with that. Honestly, I would say pay for a month and
hmm
kind of see where you can go with it. And I've had some good experiences with it too. I mean, it's always kind of hard to know how much control to to give these things, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What are some of the side projects you've just been playing around with?
So I guess there's a an open source library to render or visualize a Gaussian splat on Apple Metal.
Hmm.
I should give that developer credit because he built a little app. Maybe I can look that up later. But there's been a lot of people who have forked off that work. But like again,
Yeah.
it's such a rare thing to see that on Apple Vision Pro where um, you can render these things. And so what I did is I was at a friend's wedding maybe about a year ago, and at the time, in the back of my head, I said, I don't even know if this will work, but maybe I should just take some photos of the ceremony before the whole crowd comes in
Yeah.
and see like what happens. And I did, and then I more recently generated this environment out of those pictures, and it feels like you're standing at the altar,
Oh,
like
that's
back from that
cool.
memory. Yeah, and then I just showed it to them recently, like as a Christmas present, and they both really loved it. Um, so that's just something that I'm continuing to think about. I feel like if a lot of the steps are removed from that process and it's as easy as kind of like pointing your iPhone around a room and then it ends up on your Vision Pro like a little while later, that feels pretty engaging to me and that feels like something I kind of want to look into. So like that's what I've been toying around with a little bit.
Yeah, it's like people take the panoramic photos, which you know, holding your iPhone up and you're rotating around. It feels like that same capture method would be perfect for this kind
Yeah.
of implementation.
Yeah, I feel like there's this whole category of things where it's like, well, it's like for my mom, she's about ready to sell her childhood home. Like it was handed to her from her grandfather, or from my grandfather
Yeah.
who passed away recently. And I was thinking, well, okay, like let's walk through this house with the iPhone and get all this footage so that at some point in the future we can like place ourselves back in this home, like feeling like we're sitting there. And I just feel like there's so many instances of spaces that we have emotional connections to that it really just gives it like a next level of immersive memory to be in that
Is
space.
Are still images the best way for Gaussians to work, or is capturing a video of a space as effective?
That's a good question. I mean, there's honestly, it's a high skill bar, I'd say right now to kind of like do things in the ideal way.
Uh huh.
Luckily, you can kind of be lazy about it and still do pretty well. The way that I end up doing it is just high frame rate video. So like you
Okay.
just on your iPhone, just crank it to the slow mo mode
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then go at like the 240, like whatever the highest frame rate you can do it at. Because you don't want blurry photos. But
Right. Yep.
as long as you're like locking the exposure, right? Like just lock the exposure, and then you're
Hmm.
good to go. Just start snapping away, and
Okay.
then like there's like I say, there's a handful of like turnkey where it's just like yeah, like basically upload a few gigs of photos, and we'll just hand you back the thing. Like no, don't even think about it. And then like you can also go to the far other end where it's like you build your own rig, your own GPU, and you're like really trying to like make like the perfect thing and also have like the performance be really good on the far end because like yeah it can accidentally explode in size and then it ends up being really slow. So yeah, there's a lot of problems to solve, but it never hurts to just, I would say, like right now, even if like you have no plan to even get into this technology anytime soon, take all those photos of your of whatever you want to like preserve the memory of, because you'll be able to give it to something at some point in the future and generate
Yeah.
a thing out of it. So like it doesn't hurt to just start doing that now, right?
Right. Totally. No, that's yeah. I'm fascinated by this technology because
Yeah.
I think there's some power in that, especially if you're
Yeah.
moving and you want to remember that place you once lived.
Yeah, I even saw like even on the Quest, people were, but this isn't Gaussian splat, but there's like motion memories too, right? So like if like especially for children, I mean I don't even want to say a specific example because there's so many things, but just taking something like a spatial video, but with like even more, but with like essentially kind of like combining the two. So like you take a 3D video, but then you can walk around the subject. Like I guess like if you saw
Mm.
Minority Report, like where it's like
Yes.
the so it's like the hologram of his wife. It's
Yes.
like yeah,
I love
something
that
where it's
movie.
like you're
It's,
yeah, it's so great, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, that's done. Like that is achievable. It's just not convenient or like super user friendly, but like that tech exists and can be done. So it's just a question of like can a couple of iPhones like from different angles achieve that? And I think it could, but it's just like that's kind of at the frontier of like people working on this problem right now is take a footage from like two angles and then let AI fill in the gaps, let AI generate a time-based point cloud of this and then play that back and then you feel like you've got a hologram of this moment that you just recorded, right? Like that
Totally.
is technically all there, but just like I said, all the kind of like the pieces to make it smooth and user friendly have not been ironed out yet.
Yeah.
But it's exciting stuff.
No,
I gotta
it
say,
is.
like
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something I think about in 2026 is like where to continue to point my time. Right, it's like we're all balancing different things here.
Do you think the current Vision Pro cameras are capable of capturing good enough quality to do something convincing of this kind of nature?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I guess it's like ultimately, I think that if I was like building something, I think that I would even like if you were had to keep the headset on, I think I would still say take your iPhone while your headset's on, just to like the iPhone camera is so much better than
So
what's
much
on the
better.
Vision Pros. Yeah, that it seems pretty reasonable to just sort of like connect them over Bluetooth or just something else to
Yeah.
just like show you like have like a multi-device capturing strategy and
Right.
like the reason that
Well, I wonder
I
with Apple's next revision if this would be a design thing that they're trying to solve for, like in the Vision Pro proper Generation 2, let's put cameras in there that we can make stellar, just, Gaussian slats with, so people can have fun with like making their own environments. That'll be like a selling point of the next headset, perhaps.
yeah, it's a great question. It's hard to say. I mean, even on a Meta Quest 3, I think that takes pretty nice splats right now, and I would imagine those cameras are either on par or worse than the ones in the Vision Pro.
For what I've heard, the cloud is doing a lot of upscaling and work on those things, right?
Yeah, exactly. And knowing Apple, you'd want on-device processing, right? Like I'm sure that Apple would not be like selling a feature, in the next decade to say like scan your entire house and then we will take that footage and do something with it.
Totally.
It
Yep.
seems a little anti privacy from Apple's standpoint, but yeah, I guess you could use private cloud compute, so I don't want to like completely rule that out. But
Totally. Yep.
yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to know. Like this could be it's hard to tell if this is like a dead end or if this is like where a lot of investment's going, this Gaussian splat thing. And um but there's like I guess I do follow a lot of the LinkedIn folks that are like really trying to push this, and it does seem like a lot of like it's getting faster, it's taking less space, and it's running even more realistic version. And it's like that's happening like every 3 to 6 months, and so it is a cool idea. And I also, for some reason, I can't visualize Apple advertising something where you'd have to just kind of be like craning your neck and like squatting under stuff to like, get a full scan. But
That's right, because first full scan, you need like your perspective from the floor as well, right?
yeah.
That's where their little new robot will go around and just capture your room for you.
Oh yeah, I hope you never owned an iRobot because that footage may belong to
a China
conglomerate.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
I never owned one of the
mapping
ones. I literally had like probably one of the first ones that it's like just had a button. It's like, oh, I hit a wall, I'm gonna turn now. And then
yes,
wall.
ours was that. We don't have one anymore, but ours was a dumb one.
Right.
Our current house, that thing would be useless with that thing because it was just like all the toys and stuff on the ground.
I was really I was like, I think I was in love with that for a year in college, and then I just realized, you know what, I'm just going to grab a vacuum and finish this in 5 minutes. That's probably the better way to do it.
I want the lawnmower version. I know those are slowly becoming a thing. I want that.
I do golf.
I don't.
Okay. Well, I was blown away. I played at a course in Palo Alto. I guess it's not surprising that it would be Palo Alto to see this,
Right.
But I saw a robot lawnmower on the fairway as I was going by.
That's a perfect application of it. There's no trees, trees in the way. It's like, that's great, and I've accompanied golfers once just to like see the course as a third wheel or whatever, and
Sure.
the lawn people were out. They had to wait till they were done and whatever. It's like this robot thing could just be out doing its thing.
Yeah. As a I just inspired myself because like that'd be another amazing use of Gauss and Splats is golf courses, right? Like if I wanted to
Yeah.
be at like Pebble Beach or like during a PGA event or even like a major, right? And like feel what it actually feels like to be standing on the tee box with like, as you know, like to go through every hole. They've got I would say the PGA app is pretty cool, and they're kind of doing that, but with just like traditional, like someone like built a 3D model of the course. And so like when you actually go down to like the quote unquote first person view, it feels like I'm in like a maybe like an Xbox level
Yeah.
game, right? So it's like the graphics don't do it for you. Where a Gauss and Splat, you truly feel like it's just like the
Well,
that like, can't be discounted enough. Is like that's the detail and realism is kind of unmatched from that perspective, especially when you're looking at foliage, right? Like
mm-hmm.
trees and that kind of thing. Like that's where it really just kind of destroys the traditional like photogrammetry approach.
Yeah. Imagine, yeah, baseball, same thing. Imagine the MLB app having you can visit every stadium with the
Yeah,
Gaussian Splat.
yeah, absolutely. Or stand on home plate, right? I mean,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
that'd be a cool feeling. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty excited about the NBA thing. I feel like I can for the Lakers. I think I can qualify for that. I have to go back to all
You're in
the
California.
the rules. Well, like I've got my parents are in SoCal, so I feel like you
Okay.
have to be. I think it even has to be SoCal, like in the same
Yeah, that's the annoying thing.
network.
I really
Yeah,
want to experience that. I don't know what I need to do to be able to do that. I don't know if I see the B in LA, but hopefully they let you watch it after the fact as a full game. I'm not sure if that'll be a
yeah,
thing or not.
yeah. I mean, it's really. I mean, I'm gonna laugh if it ends up that like 40 people total can watch this game live, right? It's like what are the
I mean,
odds
of
of
all
like
the
being an
places,
yeah.
LA, you'd imagine filmmakers, a lot of them, you know, I know the Wicked director has a headset, and I imagine at least a fair bit of them have them.
Sure,
But
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, but
it
is
does
the
limit it greatly, though, to being only in Los Angeles. It's like,
yeah, but it's not just living in Los Angeles. It's being an NBA fan,
yeah, that too. Mm-hmm.
being a Lakers fan. Although maybe you're willing to watch the game,
Yep.
having a
Subscription.
subscription to the NBA app and owning the Apple Vision Pro, and being free that night.
Yeah, 'cause it's live. Yeah. Well, yeah, and hopefully there's some post view access. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Well, anything else before we wrap it up?
man. I don't know. I mean, I really, yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed getting into that spatial video stuff. But I feel like I owe a thanks to a lot of the people that were doing research on that, and I guess I want to shout out to like some of the I met some of this community again during the immersive storytelling talk that Apple put out in Cupertino, but still kind of seeing some of the folks from the Vision Dev Camp, and ever since then it's just been kind of fun. Like I'm in a few Discord channels, and people are just kind of occasionally sharing some things, sharing their own personal work. I feel like for anyone that's complaining, like I guess I still am kind of shocked when some people say there isn't content to watch on the Apple Vision Pro. Do you still get that sentiment from people?
I get that sentiment. It's obnoxious. It's It's like there's, I mean, let alone the 3D content, which there's a lot of 3D movies. I mean, from the movie angle alone, there's stuff to watch. Like, because even 2D movies, this is the best place to watch it. In Nuremberg, the movie I watched the other night, the aspect ratio changes to 4:3 at points in the movie. It's like, this is the best screen in the world to watch this thing on. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and even the people that I guess what I feel like when they say that, what they're saying is that the Apple TV Plus like immersive content is not large or not to their liking, and I feel like that discounts so many apps, so much like video content that indies are putting out.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to all the 3D, movies that you can find, and the
Yep.
World War II documentary was great, right? Like I mean, I feel
Yes.
like
Yep.
there's just I don't know.
The IMAX app itself has a fair bit of stuff in there too.
Yeah, but I did. It comes back to that thought that like I think that I do have to make an effort, to find things in a way that doesn't exist. Like for my phone, I'm kind of like I'm not interested in discovering apps on my phone anymore.
Yeah.
Which is maybe it's just like I don't know if it's just my age or just like the length of time that I've owned an iPhone, but it's just yeah, it's not the same draw for me. But I will go through the App Store like front page for the Apple Vision Pro, or just like explore, on Reddit
Yeah.
and see like what people are talking about, because
And there are new apps
there's
coming out. I mean, there
yeah.
are. I mean, they're not. It's not like the iPhone, but there are apps coming out, and it's fun to. Yeah, yeah, it's fun to discover those as well.
So yeah, I
Um,
mean, and especially a lot of people who are like, just like dipping their toes in Apple Vision Pro development, who are never either iOS devs or just not even devs in general, but they have a filmmaking background or they're a storytelling background. And like I've definitely wanted to kind of like help people along that path too. So, and that's
yeah,
actually, I could give a call out to anyone that wants to drop me a line. I'm happy to, provide any kind of just like sort of mentorship on just getting that stuff out. Cause yeah, it's such a cool storytelling platform, right? Like I just love
totally.
that immersive feeling of it. Yeah.
And if your Disney account with Hulu has ads in it, so load up the Vision Pro. They have not added ads to their app yet, which is amazing.
There you go. There you
So,
go. Actually, on that note, I knew that if you used to send a YouTube link through iMessage, it would strip the ads out of the YouTube video.
oh, like in the iMessage itself, like if you watch it within
Yeah.
iMessage, that's
Yeah.
probably the
So now I
case.
wonder if
Yeah.
you do the same thing and you load it up through the Vision Pro iMessage app. I wonder if that also does the same. So maybe we can find a path forward past Juno, where
Right.
we're doing that anyway.
Now I must say the Snapchat app, it's a big company, so it's the release notes, I must say, don't tell you anything at this point.
Okay, but is that any different from
Same thing as
Facebook?
Facebook and
Yeah.
everybody.
Okay.
So I was one. Just keep looking for whenever the basically every week there's an update. So like
Yeah, I
just
would
keep
say
checking.
that
Yeah.
we have a CI pipeline that takes about 4 weeks to, see the results of code that's landed, and I will let other people draw conclusions from that statement.
Yeah. Is is there a reason the companies just don't do release notes? I don't even know why that became a thing.
It's yeah, I don't think there's really any one reason. It's like if a company adopts I think Meta probably set the trend on that, honestly, with
Yeah.
Facebook, and it was because there were a lot of web developers before iOS developers that said, I, like
You
this
just
this whole
update the
release
website.
thing is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You just push more code to prod. So like, why are we doing this? But
Yeah, I remember
and because they want to
Zuckerberg
like
used
release
to have
so yeah.
these big Facebook posts with like, "Here's the feature updates coming. This is the big update here," and I don't know if he's
I would
done that in
I
a
would
while.
honestly
Yeah,
love. I mean, I would honestly love to kind of like be more like Apple and only put out things every 6 months or even every 12 months. And Apple seems to be the only place left that does this.
right. Yes. Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
no, I take it back. Airbnb has said they've gone on a quarterly.
Okay. Okay.
Like they release every quarter, so they've kind of done that. But you can actually bake some bigger things and make an announcement and but like yeah, when you're going every week, things are changing too fast and nobody wants to spend time like even keeping track of what's changed. I don't even want to
Right.
know how many like hundreds of commits are going into our code base. Like we run on a mono repo just like a lot of the other big companies, so you just have like this
Hmm.
one giant basically fire hose that every change for like everything is going into. And it's just like too much to even kind of comprehend or even like distill into into notes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a world.
But on that note, yeah, I mean, this has been great, Tim. So much for chat. I mean, it's been fun to chat. I'm glad we got our N64 nerding in there.
Absolutely. I'm still waiting for the Nintendo 3DS emulator on some test slate that's let me play those games in actual 3D on the Vision Pro.
Oh my God, you're blowing my mind. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that'd be
That would be huge.
PlayStation 3 Although harder to emulate also had 3D games on it. There's like 30 or 40 native 3D games. Like Uncharted 3 was built with the 3D version of the game that's available.
Wait, so the expectation was you were in a 3D television?
They sold a 3D monitor, like a 24-inch TV that, is more like a computer monitor type setup probably. But yeah, they have there are 3D games in the PS3 supports 3D output. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm tempted to get one of those monitors at some point and try that out. But I'm sure it's just terrible looking by today's standards. But as an emulator in a Vision Pro, that would be remarkable.
Yeah. Now, if there's only a legal way to install those ROMs,
yeah. PlayStation should really offer, with their service, PlayStation Premium, like the 3D versions that can stream to some 3D capable device or something.
Yeah, I'll keep my hopes up for that.
Yeah, that's like the thing is, PlayStation VR 2, they have a solution. They could have once I think I've heard that PlayStation's actually working on emulators for PS6 for the PS3. So if they can get native PS3 emulation and then, hook it up to their VR headset, there's a world where you'd have 3D output of those games in a nice way, but I don't see that happening ever. That seems wild and out there.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, anyways, anything you want to promote out? I mean, check out the Snapchat update when that comes out. But anything else worth mentioning?
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see how many people actually use this feature, but I hope for the dozens of you, there are dozens of us.
Yeah, I mean, go on eBay. There's a lot of these little spectacles. If you're curious, for under $100, you get the spectacles and try this out.
I guess I should plug, like our modern spectacles as well. I mean.
You need to have them add a second camera. Those suckers,
That's true. It's true. What's funny is that they're kind of it's sort of a dark horse, right? Like we have this essentially the biggest, most well-developed AR community, but it's hard to know what they're building toward, right? Like we have essentially a dev model, and we're gonna have a model coming out this year. Like that's been publicly announced.
Yeah,
and it's just interesting to be sitting in this world against both Meta and Apple with something that's kind of like a mixture between the two. I guess it's more similar to the Meta glasses that have the display built in, but there's no, brain reading wristband involved.
Yes.
Which is, I feel like, maybe the superior of the two ways of going about it. But I digress.
Yes.
It's interesting. That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks so much for your time, Greg. This has been just a fun chat, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it on this side too. Thanks again, Tim, and see you next time.
Well, that was my conversation with Greg. Make sure to check out that update to Snapchat, and maybe go on eBay and grab some of those spectacles to give it a try. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so over at visionpros.fm/Patreon or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, I'll talk with everyone again real soon.